Caitlin's Culinary Cacks. Oops. The bliss of the abyss.
Once upon a time in a land far away, a poor farmer and his wife lived all alone. They were very lonesome.
Of the Abyss
with Robert Newmarket. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Bliss of the Abyss. I am your host, Robert Newmarket Jones, Ruskin, Denmark. I've got many names. Stevie, the little cat, is right here. Hello. And over there we have the returning champion, Caitlin.
That's not my name.
Oh God. Already. She's
Thank
back.
you. Hello.
She's back for Caitlin's Culinary Corner.
Multitasking right now.
Multitasking. What are you about to do? Let's get a clean audio of what's about to happen here. We have a very special show for you today. It's a celebration. Oh, very nice. So today is a special edition of Caitlin's Culinary Corner.
Yeah!
We have an entire feast laid out, so we're going to be eating on the mic. No, I'm only joking. People hate that. Yeah, go on. That's right. You have to wait for me. That's fine. I have become a complete knob, and I know how to make sourdough now, apparently. We're going to test it out. It's my second attempt at a loaf. The first one went terribly wrong, and we made it into a focaccia. We also have home pickled gherkins, or pickles, as they are in the US. Homegrown tomatoes, and garlic oil from the garlic farm. What else do we have there, Caitlin?
We have natural olives. We have, is it suet?
Yeah, fouet. Yeah.
Fouet, not suet. We have, did you get Comté?
It's Gruyere. They didn't have Comté.
Okay, so we have Gruyere. We have this beautiful bottle of Santideno wine, which came with this beautiful wax seal that we almost stabbed our fingers with, because it was as if, imagine if someone were to give you a bottle of wine in like 1805 and all they could seal it with, instead of a lonely cork, they must put a seal of letter envelope approval over it, so the seal was so thick.
On pain of death.
On pain of death.
Or the king shall destroy you.
Yes.
And we have had what I would describe as a very clean living week.
Yes.
We've done multiple fasts.
Yes.
We've done healthy dinners.
Indeed.
We've done no booze.
I know.
And now we have some beautiful wine. Would you like to... Here's mud in your eye.
What is my eye?
It's an old, I don't know where that comes from.
So, a fun fact, and this was when I
Already, look at that. She's such a professional. Fun fact already. Well, I say you're a professional. Please sit in the middle of the sofa.
Don't tell me what to do.
I've set up the microphone properly so
Okay.
that you don't have to like lean in. You can relax.
Okay.
It'll pick you up just fine. Fun fact, yeah.
Okay, so I used to work for the World Languages team at McGraw-Hill Education, higher education please, and we produced textbooks, and in the textbook they said that culturally so many different cultures have ways to cheers and superstitions around cheersing.
That's cool.
And one of them, I don't know what's attributed to each culture, but like one would be you have to stare someone in the eyes. And not blink, some people think, when you're cheersing. Another one would be that you can't cheers with a glass of water. So people have these weird traditions and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it originally comes from the idea of like there being poison, right?
That would make sense, yeah.
You clink each other's glass, and if there's something in there, it will like bubble strangely.
Yeah.
That could be complete nonsense.
I mean, that's the same thing with sneezing, right? You say bless you because they thought there were demons inside you. At you.
Yeah.
Achoo!
Yeah, so we have a bit of a special show. It's going to be a bit of a different one. Caitlin's been a complete nerd and prepared a lot of stuff.
Why, I never.
As indeed have I. There's a few things that I want to talk about as well. So it's going to be a bit of a special edition of the show. And the first thing I think we should do is see what the fuck that bread looks like when I cut it open.
It looks like bread for anyone who's listening.
From the outside.
Yes, it does look like it's edible. It looks delicious. It has a glorious golden tan top. And it looks crunchy. And looks like it'll be squidgy and nice and with some holes in the middle. Oh, do you hear that beautiful crunch? There's crumbs going everywhere in this house. Yes! And let's see, he's gone all the way through, I think. Oh, he's struggling a bit. That shows its dexterity. And now for the reveal. Oh, is that just beautiful? We have some peak air bubbles. That means gluten's working. Here we are. I think he's going to take a picture of it so everyone can visualize this at home. However, I will get to taste this. Suckers.
Now, this is what nerds call the crumb. The way that it breaks apart and the air bubbles and stuff.
I mean, you're certainly being a crumb bum. There's crumbs everywhere. Ooh!
Can you
oh no!
call the doctor?
No, we have a casualty!
Can you get like a little plate?
Oh, poor bee. Do you want one more? Seal does a kiss. Okay, all the casualties are done, and now I'm being given bread. I mean, I feel like I don't deserve this. It's actually been made with blood. And probably tears. I don't know about sweat, though. It hasn't been that hot today.
Thank you very much. It was difficult to make. Also, you only got a plate for yourself. Do you want to tell everyone that?
Oh, he said just go get a little plate, and so I've apparently only gotten a plate for myself. I would have given it to you.
This is what only children are like.
Oh!
This is why people need siblings.
You notice how the middle child did not actually listen to me when I said I would have given the only plate to him, so it's very indicative of who he is.
Because life's not fair! Okay, well.
Oh, I want to take a picture of this.
I will. Yeah, you vamp. You do your thing for a little while. I'll vamp. So here we go. This is only my second ever loaf, so I don't have massively high hopes for it. It already looks a lot better than the last one. I can see it's maybe a little bit too dense, so I'm not happy about that. Still working on that. We have a lot of things to try it with, and I'd like you to join me.
Yeah, I think we should cut it again.
Do what you want with it. It's your slice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip. I'm gonna dip.
Okay, I'll rip. I'll go the heathen's way. Okay. I'm gonna give it a smell. Oh, it smells gorgeous. Okay, so what's what? Oh, the garlic oil. Okay, so if you haven't been to the Isle of Wight, go, because it's nice, it's great. But there is a garlic farm, and we have this beautiful garlic oil. I really shouldn't be saying this because people are going to buy it, and then we can't buy it, but it's garlic-infused oil from the garlic farm from Isle of Wight, and you can buy it online, and all the rest of their products. No, we did not get to visit the farm, but we now heavily endorse their products, so I'm about to eat it, and we'll see what my reaction is.
I'm pleased. I can say I've had my first bite. I'd say it tastes like actual bread. I think we can use it for sandwiches. I'm pretty excited about the options available in my life now. Yeah, Caitlin has this unique reaction that I've never heard someone else do so consistently. So it's always the same. And she's only just... we've been together for, 9 years? I've only just told her this recently. And she's only just now starting to realise that she actually does it. So she'll occasionally catch herself doing it, which is when she likes something, you'll go, like regularly.
I was just going to do it again.
You're going to do it again?
It's so good. It's like my confirmation to myself and to everyone around me, without realizing it, that they need to know how good it is. I'm proud to be weird. This is like an unboxing.
It is
on YouTube or whatever. I follow all these these blogger mamas now, and that's what they do. So
they do unboxings.
Yeah. Wow. Look at this.
I've put all this stuff in front of you.
Right. So I have this.
So that you have the stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stay over there. There you go. You've got lots of options. Try not to talk on mic because people hate it. Although I never mind it that much.
I hate it, actually. So.
But some people obviously do. So, lots of things we want to talk about this week. Obviously, we've got the Culinary Corner.
Yay!
As the person who is the host of the Culinary Corner, would you like to dive right into it? Or Would you like to warm up to it? How do you feel?
I'd like to eat, so...
Yes, do you want me to chat for a while?
Yeah, you can chat for a bit.
Okay, all right. So
and I'll interject if I
enjoy all the little tastes that we've got in front of us. It's quite a little feast. I'm happy about those little tomatoes from the garden. I'm turning into a domestic goddess, basically, people. This is what's happened. I'm learning how to bake. I'm learning how to vacuum. I do it in my knickers. I'm a sight to see. So what's that?
Holy shit, this tomato's great! Oh my god!
There we go.
Oh my god! Oh!
I've been tending to them all summer. I've had nothing else to fucking do.
Such a labour of love, my god.
But what I was saying, so we just found out the other day, we're recording this on the 11th of September, that this weekend is the last weekend we'll have of proper freedom. Down is going to come back. Not full, not quite as bad as it was, but quite a significant reinstatement of lockdown.
Now, of course, since I am a co-host right now, I have to do a shout out to all of our American listeners. We're sorry that we've had a lot of leniencies and freedoms that you don't have.
Yeah, you only mean New York, though, don't you? Because
I know that
in fucking Arizona, they are going...
Well, it's their right not to wear a mask, okay? But outside of that, I was told, I didn't even realize this, that you can only go to a restaurant if you're sitting outside in New York right now. So even though they have some some things are more lenient, it's still a lot. So basically, we're sorry about that, and we're sorry that we're going to join you again. We don't want to. Nobody wants to, but
no.
I think that people are over it, and you can't be over it. But the thing is, because people got into a mindset where they were told you don't have to wear this anymore, you can do these things like go to a restaurant, and you still can, by the way. So the people are quite upset that you can't have more than 6 people in your house, but you can have more than 6 people in a group in a pub. It doesn't really make sense.
No, well, I tell you what it is that the government loves pubs
and money
and money. So you can't socialise with your friends at home, but you can go to school with hundreds of other people. You can go to the pub where hundreds of people are coming and going. But if you have more than 6 people over at your house, you're breaking the law and you could be fined real money.
Well,
so that's the world that we're living in now in the UK. So we're going to enjoy our last weekend of freedom. Woo-woo! We're going to see some friends this evening, have a little bit of a mini house party. How many people does it have to be?
Party, we're having dinner with
a
them.
Gathering, yeah. I mean, it's not a house party,
That's the new COVID house party.
That's as much as is allowed. And then tomorrow we've got big plans for a big bike ride, because Caitlin has got her new bicycle!
Hot Wheels!
Hot Wheels!
Hot Wheels, and I have a new basket.
Yeah, I installed a basket onto Caitlin's bike. Let's see if it survives its first ride.
It has to hold a bottle of wine. That's...
And some of this bread, how much we've got left over.
We might have to buy more bread for that, but we're going to bring this and finish it.
So we're going to have an adventure on Saturday. We're going to go cycle around, have a picnic. I think the weather's going to hold out for us. So we're going to have a beautiful picnic. We're going to go bowling. We're going to go to the cinema. And then on Sunday, we're going to paint the door red.
Red!
and make sourdough pizza. So I've got the dough next door, proving I have to fold it in a bit. I know Tom Leo is going to be wetting his pants as I talk about this, and also probably scolding me for getting little bits wrong somehow.
He's such a good teacher. You know why?
Why?
Because you like to be the king of Instagram. Tom.
Oh, you're giving Tom a shout out?
Yeah, I'm giving Tom a shout out because you were sending pictures of your bread all day, and he was like asking all day about your bread and whatnot. And casually, he posted a picture of twin sourdough breads that he made today on Instagram and didn't tell you once, which I think is actually a really great
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they were beautiful, but it was so nice that he let you kind of have your journey with this, rather than being like, look what I made! Like,
so treating me like I'm the special kid at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, well done, you're doing really well. Meanwhile, on the side, he's making billions in his tech startup. Well, no, that is good. That's good, isn't it? And then, so the alarm is going to go off at some point. I have to go and fold and turn the dough and stuff like that. Caitlin is now eating an olive, I believe. This cheese is sumptuous. It's really nice. I haven't tried that tomato yet. It's very exciting. We're building up to the Culinary Corner. But before we get to the Culinary Corner, there's a couple of small things that I wanted to talk to you about. Number 1. How's this for a headline? Man who killed women and hid them in freezer found guilty.
Women. You mean women with a Y.
Women with what? Apparently, no, it's women with an X now. It's women with an X.
X for cancelled.
X for cancelled. Has this guy been cancelled? Is going to jail the same as being cancelled?
I hope so. I mean, no, if you do
Well,
your
no, what if you're innocent?
Yeah, okay, that's a point. I mean, also, if you do your time, you should be able to, like, reintegrate into society and not be looked at as a convict. Like, you know, if you've actually done your sentencing, you should be able to come back into society and get a job. One of the places we wanted to go to, actually, is the Clink, which is in Brixton, which we haven't been able to go to yet. But it's basically a restaurant run entirely by inmates who are learning how to readjust when they're about to be released to go back into society, and everything is run by the inmates and stuff. So that was on our list of restaurants to contribute to.
But you have to book quite far in advance, and obviously you're not allowed to drink booze when you're in there.
Yeah, what's the prison called? It's in Brixton. I don't know if it's Brixton Prison.
I think it's Brixton Prison, yeah, I think so. HMP.
Yeah.
Her Majesty's Prison.
Oh, goodness.
It's not someone else's prison.
If you get a king, if and when you get
Can't
a king...
wait. It's been long enough!
Does it change to His Majesty's Prison?
That's right, yeah.
It just changes.
All of it changes, and they'll start like rolling out new signs. All the money will change, all the stamps.
Yeah, what happens with the old money?
Well, no, it's still good. It's not like, burn it all!
Burn it to shit!
We can still use it, don't worry.
I don't know, I don't feel comfortable anymore.
Invest in gold, quick, gold stocks. Yeah, so this guy who killed women, chopped them up, put them in his freezer. Shockingly, he was found guilty. It
sounds like he has good butchering skills. I really don't mean that.
But he pled innocent. Now, how do you plead innocent with people in your freezer? Why don't you just take the plea deal? Caitlin? She's, by the way, the look on her face, hilarious. She's like, I came here for the Culinary Corner. I don't want to talk about...
No, I came here to discuss body parts and how to properly dispose them. Now, the first thing he did wrong, kept it in the place that he co-inhabits with other people, that he lives.
Terrible mistake.
You don't do that.
Don't
Number
do
two, don't also bury bodies in your backyard. They will come up, a neighbor will find them. Number three.
They will come up. It's the living dead. They will rise again. They will take your head.
I saw a thing where a guy bought this like rundown home and was kind of doing improvements to it, and his idea was to buy it and then sell it off or whatever, something like that.
Do it up, turn a profit. Ooh.
Oh, well, he has to go do the bread.
That, yeah.
But he bought this house, he had to do it up and all these things, and then it rained very heavily. There was flooding or whatnot in his backyard, and what he thought was the remnants of an old patio actually turned out, a neighbor called him and they were like, oh, have you seen, the old swimming pool in your backyard? And he goes, what? And it turns out the flooding revealed that he had this beautiful, once, grand, in-ground pool that was in his backyard. And so he actually ended up spending like $5,000 to renovate this pool. And it actually made his house property worth like way more.
Wow, that's amazing.
But now he doesn't actually want to sell it, because they're enjoying the pool so much that, so it's funny how things work that way. Rob has flower hands.
So the other thing I wanted to talk about before we get to the Culinary Corner, that I'm sure will dominate this entire episode, because that's what happens. You come on my podcast and you dominate it. You tell me you're going to run my social media and you abscond. And I have to do the whole thing by myself. You tell me I'm handsome. You tell me that you're married to me. You tell me my name's Robert. It's all lies.
I mean, yeah.
How do you like the gherkins, by the way? Quite nice, aren't they?
They're delicious. Actually, that is on our list to talk about. But, what did you ask me?
Oh, so good. I'm enjoying myself immensely. This is so much fun. Yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Oh, yeah. About all the filth I tell you, yeah.
No, that was just silly. Before we get on to the big tease, I've teased it so often now. Every week I'm saying, Caitlin will surely come back one week. Hachoo! Hachoo! Which is this craze that we've seen. We saw it on the Isle of Wight, but we've seen it since.
The ankle tattoos?
No. Although let's carry on this guessing game.
Okay. Belly button piercings.
No.
Women over 50 dyeing their hair stylish pink.
Very close. It was women under 50 dyeing their hair unstylish pink. A couple of little variables. Ding, 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 ding.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Look at Stevie. She's joining in this little podcast. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
You just have to trust us that she exists and she's here.
Look at her tongue.
Have you ever seen an animal just like chill, but their little pink tongue is somehow hanging in between their mouths? Like, if you don't Google it, you'll find something, I guess. I'm not going to tell you what specifically to Google. In fact, don't Google it. Just imagine. Use your imagination.
No, Ecosia. Remember, that's who sponsors this show. It's the one. It's the one that plants trees every time you search for it. Ecosia. Everybody should be using Ecosia until Google decide to pay me money. No, it wasn't that. Let me just try and check. Oh, only 20 minutes. It's flying by. It was the thing I wanted to talk to you about, which is this thing we've seen, which I'm very confused about, and you had a very funny take on, is adult-only hotels.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think I've seen 3 of them now, just in my walking around life.
Yeah.
Now, the first time I came across this adult-only phrase was when I was watching pornography. And then this second time was, you occasionally get like an invite to a wedding and it says like adult-only.
We kind of did that, so...
But I feel like, well, okay, I'm going to toot our own horn. I feel like we did it in a more classy way, which was, we basically had a policy that it was adult-only, but we didn't need to rub it in people's faces. And then anyone with kids inevitably message you going, can we bring our kids? And we say, no, you No, we just like, look, we don't have space. We don't like them. No, they stink.
No, we didn't say that.
Okay, no. We just said, look, it's not that kind of event. As opposed to upfront being like adult-only wedding. Which just is it telegraphs a weird message for me.
To me, it tells me you're going to have a lot of fucking fun.
That's true. It does.
Yeah.
It does. Although, to be fair to us, we did have a very fun wedding. Now, the third time I've seen this adult-only thing is with the hotels. So, maybe, following your logic, the thing that it tells you is you're going to have a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? But, do you want to say what you said when you first saw it?
What did I say? I don't even remember.
Okay, so we were walking along in this Isle of Wight show out, down to the sea, and we're in kind of a giggly mood, having a good time on holiday. And we see this like nice hotel, and it was called something weird, and it had like very kiddie, like emoji style,
like
Comic
starfish.
Sans, starfish. So it was like weird that it also said adult only hotel.
Yeah.
And I'll try and get this right. I said one of 2 things. It was like adult only hotel, and it was like the subtitle was "Leave your fucking kids at home."
Fuck your kids.
Oh yeah, fuck your kids, and just a photo of you. Like smiling, double thumbs up, little speech bubble.
Fuck your kids. This is an adult-only space.
Leave your fucking kids at home, okay?
I mean, to a tired parent, that's probably great.
Now, do you think adult-only means 18 plus?
Yes. Well, I don't know. What's the legal laws here? Because, in the States, it would probably mean that.
18 is alcohol.
But see, like, isn't it weird? To me, my head goes to adult only would be 18 plus. However, in the States, a lot of states are 21 and over to drink. But I still think they would have adult only with 18 plus because you can get drafted at 18.
Yeah, I think you can join the military earlier here. It's still so wild that the idea that there are some states that you can't drink until you're 21. As if that makes any sense. Or that there are counties that are dry counties. They literally, you cannot buy alcohol there. I mean, it's kind of one of the best and worst things about America. This is a bit of a tangent, I guess. So I'd be interested to see your take. But like, the federal system, the fact that it's a federation, so states have really their own laws.
Yeah, they're like mini countries.
They're like mini countries. So we kind of have that here with England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, sorry. Except it's kind of not. But there, you can get like places where it's like totally legal to buy and sell marijuana, and then places where you could be hit with a 30-year jail sentence to do that.
Yeah.
And there's such like you can cross a state line, and your whole age of consent, the things you're allowed to do, the things you're allowed to buy, sell, the licenses you need are completely different.
Yeah.
Kind of the best and the worst of the states.
Well, it depends, right? It depends on what your values are, and I think that's the thing about Americans. They really value their values, no matter what they are, and I think that's the problem that we're getting with the masks, where people are like, that's my right not to wear a mask, and my values is that I don't want to wear a mask, and I want to keep going out and stuff, and so I think there's like personally, I just think that there's a dialogue around that, and rights and whatnot. But like, for instance, in New York, I mean, now I think you can have an open container, but not when I lived there, which was like over 5 years ago. Of alcohol, yeah. So before, when you'd get alcohol, you'd get it with a brown bag and kind of hide it. And like,
and you can be fined for it if they catch. Because I remember early on when you moved here,
awesome.
We were drinking. But we'd be like, you'd have like a beer or a wine or something as you're walking along the street, as is your God-given right as an Englishman. And you'd be like, are we allowed to do this? And you would have kind of like this little frisson of like, it's naughty, it's not allowed. Yeah. And it's only recently that they made it illegal on the tube and stuff. And they
don't even really check. And I've seen police officers that are kind of like,
I think from my New York friends and from stuff I've seen online that the cops have kind of, since the pandemic, eased off on tickets for stuff like that.
I don't know. Actually, I haven't spoken about this casually. I mean, I do know that they're still doing like corner parties. You know how like the pubs here started doing like to-go drinks? I think that's going on, which is a great policy. They should always do that, in my humble opinion. I would do that in the summertime at least. It should be like, how like summer Fridays people get off really early, like half a day. They should have summer Fridays for the pubs, and like they can like have a to-go drink. Yeah. But like going back like 5 years ago, which is what you're asking me. So like New York didn't have like a carry, like you could probably like some with permits have an open carry gun in some states, but like you couldn't have open carry. It's very hard to get
in New York though.
It's hard. I think. You can have a gun though.
You can have a gun, but even that is quite hard to get.
Yeah, I haven't brushed up on this because I don't own a gun, but so the booze was like a bit difficult. People would put like, for instance, like teenagers who were celebrating St. Patrick's Day would always get like a McDonald's, like the big cups, and put beer in the cups, and you'd always like kind of hide it. And the police would just wait for you in Penn Station because you'd be slashed at like 9 a.m. because you're too young to drink. But so there'd be that. But then my dad told me a story of like New Hampshire or something.
Shout out to Johnny B.
Johnny B.
Can't wait for him to come on the show.
Yes.
You have to try and organise that. It's going to be a special episode coming up soon.
Yeah. But he was saying like he had a friend who moved there and they were having beer or something, and like the beer is 3% instead of 6%.
There are some
states.
Like
some states they have stuff that you can buy.
Allowed.
Yeah, and like for instance, so like in London, we'll go back to New York now. So like in London, you just go to an off license, which is like a bodega in New York. But you go to an off license, and in an off license or a supermarket, both of these things are quite important to note. So you can go to any supermarket or any off license and you can get any wine of choosing, any spirit of choosing, any beer of choosing, etc. Whereas in New York, you could get beer anywhere for the most part. So anywhere you go, there will be beer, and there will be what they say is wine, but it's more like a wine spritzer, because the amount that supermarkets and like bodegas and stuff can sell, I think, is like under 7% or something. So they say it's wine, but it's more like juice or like very like low alcoholic wine.
And for UK listeners, just to clarify, a bodega is like a corner shop, a small
corner shop off license.
Yeah.
Because they sell beer and like lots of little things, and they're amazing and a staple to the city. And it's where you get something like a bodega cat and all these beautiful things and keep the bodegas going. They're integral to New York City. But in order to get booze, you have to go to a wine shop, which I see in the bougie spots of London are starting to open, where something's just dedicated to nice wine. But
they exist, but it's not like a legally enforced thing.
Yeah, so they have like liquor stores. So you have to actually drive to the liquor store, and the liquor store closes. So if you want some booze really late, I don't know if it's changed now, but I don't think it has. So like in the city, they'll have like kind of 24-hour liquor stores and stuff, but if you're in the suburbs or stuff, it's like you got to get your stuff early. And you can't just go to your offie to get it. So unless you're drinking beer, then you're fine. But yeah.
In Oklahoma, the percentage cap for beer is 4%.
Yeah, see? So it's low. There's like
In
states
New
where
York, it's 15%.
for beer. Oh yeah, because we had Four Loko that
You can
was
get
sold.
Four Loko.
Yeah, that was high. And then they banned that, and then I don't know if it came
Although
back.
someone else says there isn't. But
So kids
South
really-
Carolina is 12%, it looks like.
It's quite high.
Ohio is 12%.
So 12% could be a wine bottle, though, like for sure.
Well, I mean, this is for beer that they're talking about.
But like with the 6% and lower, you can't sell proper wine. Like
That's not real
alongside
wine.
that, if that's your alcohol count.
Like, yeah.
And then, for instance, like so again, we're going off like 5 years ago, and even sooner, like or later. But when we went to Louisiana, they had, as long as you didn't have a glass bottle, you could walk around with booze, which is very similar to here.
And
so
you could actually, it's even more liberal than here, because there
they give you the to-go cups.
They give you all the alcohol in a to-go cup, which is kind of becoming more common here now because of COVID, and I'm sure it's more common everywhere. But you can just take that drink, half drunk, walk down the street, walk into another place with it, and continue living your life, and that's fine.
Shout out to the Green Goddess. That's the only reason I remember that restaurant. It was beautiful. It was on a side street that Lonely Planet suggested, and I think we went like 2012 or 11, like really early on in our relationship to Louisiana, and that was when we first learned about the to-go cups, because we had these cocktails, and then the waitress just was so cash, and then she was just like, do you want to take it to go? And I was like, excuse me? Because you can't, like, what? Like, are you trying to get me fined?
Right, like it's a sting. It's like, you want to take these to go? Oh, that sounds great. You walk outside one step of the restaurant. It's like, ma'am, put your hands on the vehicle.
Oh, so anyone who's American who's listening, did you watch The Great Mouse Detective? Because it completely escaped me, and it made me think of the scene with Ratigan. Well, Ratigan's not in there, but Sherlock Holmes, or Basil basically, comes in and he goes, I'm looking for my friend Ratigan, and then the barmaid goes, have an out of him, and then goes to like the bar, and then they put poison in the drink. Haven't heard of him, love.
Haven't heard of him,
Haven't heard of him.
Ratigan? Nah, never heard of him.
Nah, never heard of him.
Nah, never heard of him. This Basil's
No,
trouble.
not that Basil.
Poison him. Well, Ratigan.
Ratigan.
We don't know the lyrics. Cool. Good. That was a fun show.
I want to say one more thing. No, one thing is important before you end the show. So just think about this, anybody who's probably European or British or whatnot listening. In 2011, I studied abroad here, and I was 20, and I couldn't drink alcohol in New York legally. And I bought the alcohol for my 21st birthday, which was celebrated in London. Mm-hmm. And it was a wild feeling buying alcohol for my birthday to turn 21.
Trick the system.
Yeah.
And that was back then when I met you. Do you remember the New York driver's license? Like made out of like paper. They were these flimsy, like thin 2-ply things. And we used to, like, every fifth place we'd go, people would be like, what is this? And
like,
we'd have to be like, no, it's real.
You're chatting bollocks, basically.
Yeah,
And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I missed the photo opportunity. Like, you know how you have to keep.
What do you mean?
So you keep renewing your license, and if you don't show up, my dad did it for me, I think, at one point, and so. Because I think when you're 21, you have to get it renewed because it says different stuff on your license.
Oh, okay.
So I was in London, so he got it renewed for me, and that means that I had my like 16 or 17-year-old picture. So I couldn't go to the DMV, but I didn't need to. I just needed the license to get renewed because when you're 21, it expires, and then suddenly it says that you are an adult and all these things. So my picture was me when I was 16 or 17, and I had basically black hair. It was dark brown, but it looked black, and so everyone just thought it was the stupidest fake. It was this flimsy New York license with long black gothic hair, and
also like the face of someone quite a few years younger.
Yeah.
And you're in that earlier stage of your life where your face changes quite a lot
drastically
as you're getting a bit older.
Yeah.
Like even between like the ages of 16 and 18 and 21.
So
your
it's like
face
16
is
to
like,
21.
So that's a big jump.
So people were just like, "You're pulling my leg."
But I don't think I mean, maybe we got like turned away once or twice.
It's because I had
In fact, we
other
did,
credit
but-
cards to show it with, but I always
yeah.
had to show 2.
Yeah. They've basically given up on checking signatures. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they stopped. Thank God, because it's so annoying.
Also, it's shit because it's so. I guess
It's like you've done my
can
signature.
forge that shit. Like,
You can forge signatures.
Is that your PSA?
If anything you can take away from my culinary corner is that you could forge signatures. Good night.
Speaking of which, it's that point in the show. We've all been looking forward to it. We know what's coming. Hit it on the jingle.
Caitlin's Culinary Corner. Yeah. I thought I'd add pause for emphasis.
Shut up.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is tomatoes. Tomatoes. Oh my god. Okay, so this tomato
I love this show.
is fucking beautiful. It's gorgeous. The color is just like, it's thick. I don't know. You know when you have a feeling towards a color, you see a color and you don't know how else to explain it. You don't want to just give it a name. I'm not going to call it like a poppy or a tomato color or whatever. It's thick and it just envelops you like velvet. And the fact that I've seen like Rob go out every single day to tend to these tomatoes and then suddenly they just decide to show up and be red, it's gorgeous. And you don't know if the rest of them, like, if they'll change or not. And that's the beauty of growing things and actually bringing some positive life into this world when things seem a little bleak. So it's so nice to be able to enjoy something that you can cultivate with your own hands. And if you don't have the space to grow tomatoes, you can grow herbs and stuff in like your little windowsill. Everyone should have a windowsill. So
I think everyone should have a go at growing their own stuff.
just something.
Herb, like chili plant, you can easily get indoors.
Do you know,
which we should do.
I was told we gave up too early on the avocado plant. So there's this thing, it's kind of like trending thing where you could grow an avocado from the pits or the seed in the middle.
Right, and you have to
with
put like
toothpicks
in
and water.
it
And so
over
we
water.
tried it and we were like, fuck this, it's
Well,
not
it
working.
started to smell.
Yeah. So Trish is the one who, shout out to Trish.
Oh, good.
She said you have to do it for like 6 weeks.
Okay.
And we didn't wait that long for it to
didn't.
grow. And Elisa actually did successfully get something to sprout from, shout out to Elisa. I have another thing I want to talk to. Impromptu crash course, not planned.
Stop
Here
clapping,
we go.
Stop clapping.
Okay, so
You
I
don't
was,
need to yell. This is such an exciting show.
I
Carry
was
on.
talking to Trish Garrity. No, Trish Connor. What's his last name? Quinn. Trish Quinn.
And cut. I was talking to.
I was talking to Trish Quinn. And
Know her, love her.
yes, she's a lovely Irish lady, and she was talking to me about an easy way to make Irish soda bread.
Mm. Oh, that's so good.
And because we go back and forth on gluten-free things and how I was no longer gluten-free, so I wanted to try some glutinous like recipes and whatnot. I'm no longer 100% gluten-free.
Right.
And she was like, oh, I have this amazing soda bread recipe. It's 3 ingredients. It's basically like baking powder, flour, and water. And I went, where are the currants or the raisins? And she was, that's not Irish. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because in New York, especially around St. Patrick's Day, and a lot of my Irish families who like take a lot of pride in recipes being like handed down, we have Irish soda bread with like some kind of raisins basically or currants in them. And I look forward to the little sweet treat that's in
nice.
an Irish soda bread. But
Yeah.
apparently, according to her, where she's from, and I know she lived in Belfast for a bit, but I don't know, she
Yeah.
kind of moved around.
Yeah.
That's not a traditional Irish soda bread. So I just wanted to bring it up and see what like listeners might think.
I wonder. I'd be interested to hear listeners' thoughts on that. My take on that is like a lot of people, like if a culture's very old,
Yeah.
then there'll be like regional differences.
Yeah.
Like one obvious example, because we were talking about recently, was cream teas. If you
Delicious,
have
by the way.
the clotted cream on the bottom of the scone or on the top of the scone, or however you pronounce that, or if the jam goes on the bottom of the top.
And what's the Queen's favorite?
And the Queen likes to have the jam
On the bottom, yeah.
That's right. And obviously for the people who that is their favourite, they're like, this is the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's like the same with, borscht I remember reading about that, and it's only very certain things where it's like, you know, those protected foods like champagne or cheddar, where it's like, no, this is the only way that you're allowed to do it. Apart from that, regional varieties, they always claim that theirs is the original. Theirs is the real, right?
When you were talking, though, and I was thinking about
I got bored. When you were talking, though, I thought, why would you shut?
No, I didn't get bored. I was just thinking about a sandwich, or like a sandwich filling that my dad would just pull out every so often, and it wasn't that common, but delicious. And I'm realizing that it's a derivative of a cream tea, and it's cream cheese and jelly, or jam. And
it was probably jelly, right? It wasn't
jelly. We call it jelly.
For those listening, Caitlin just flicked her necklace right into her eyeball.
I did.
No, but jelly and jam are not the same thing because...
Yeah, but you call jelly something different.
But you can get jelly here and it's like thicker and it's got no bits. And
but your jelly is jello.
Oh, but our jello... Yeah. Jello and jelly. Yeah, sure. But you also do get
following
things... along? Yeah. So our jello is jelly and your jelly is jam.
And our crisps are crisps and... what? Chips and crisps and zucchini.
Yeah, no, that's a version of it, isn't it? I mean...
and it's delicious. It's really good.
Delicious.
And he would put on a bagel a lot, or like white bread and stuff, and like the cream cheese would go on the bottom, and the jelly would go on. It would be grape jelly, Concord grape jelly, of course. That's like a staple. And it would go on the top. So that just made me think that has to be similar. And then we were talking about recently eggs and bacon, and we were like, who thought that eggs and bacon should be the staple?
Breakfast. Wakey, eggs and bacon.
Wakey, eggs and bacon.
And it was Sigmund Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays.
Chief marketer.
Yeah, who went into advertising, and basically there's darker sides to all of that stuff. You know, it's all like the advertising cigarettes and all the kind of like, you know, my doctor prefers Camel kind of thing. And you're like, what?
I mean, he does, whatever. But like what you were saying, when we looked it up, right? Because we were like, you know... Eggs and bacon is like a quintessential American. You think eggs and bacon, you think the smiley face, and you think America. However, I was like, Rob, you know, like a traditional English breakfast, which is delicious. I was like, how long has that been around? And we looked it up, and it was like since the 10th century, or like the 13th century.
Right.
It's like casually when you live in London or England or any of these places, and you walk around, like something's casually from like 1006, and you're just... And you're just like, I can count a potato. I don't understand. COVID! Oh, you made our moon turn. We have this like moon that we were gifted from Rob's cousin Selena. Thank you, Selena. And every time you make a really loud noise, it changes color abruptly, as if we're... Yeah, it went from red to green because he just clapped, and now it's purple. No, it did nothing for me.
I'm right close to it.
Blue! Ooh! It's now doing some kind of weird...
So when we were watching the film the other night, anytime something like really dramatic would happen, or there'd be like a new sound, the moon would suddenly like... and it was the only light that we had on in the room, and it would suddenly go like red, and then Rattigan would be like... Oh, I've got hiccups and burps. Oh no, I'm falling apart.
Oh no, I'm not casually eating.
Hold on, give me a second. I need some water. Do you want to introduce the next segment?
Okay. It's Caitlin's Culinary Corner.
Yeah. Janis Joplin, but...
Add a little rock and roll, a little pepper, a little paprika.
Nothing wrong with that.
Do you say paprika?
I don't know what I say anymore.
Yeah, I know. Like we are so blended these days. It's ridiculous. Like sometimes he'll say tomato. Wait, say tomato so they can hear what you sound like.
Tomato.
He doesn't say it that way. So I wanted this episode to be short and sweet, and it hasn't been. So so here we go. I wanted to do some life hacks for you guys this time. I mean, I also here we are. So, what you should invest in, I think that you should invest in...
Me?
And we already have invested in it, darling, and it's not all about you.
Who are you talking to?
You know. Not the two.
The listeners.
Yeah, the.
So this is the next segment of. I'm just providing some structure to your absolutely insane ramblings. So Caitlin's got some tips.
Yeah.
Some life hacks, she likes to call them.
Yeah.
Culinary hacks.
Yeah.
Shall we call them?
Sure.
Cacks.
Cacks.
Caitlin's culinary cacks. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, it's like funny because I'm not a chef, but here we go. So buy a hand mixer, like a hand blender type of thing. I can't imagine they're that expensive, but it has like one little blade, and so if you can't afford a blender or a food processor, which we have both of, we actually use this little mini hand blender way more often. So when you buy one of those things, you suddenly can make a lot of pastes, a lot of dips, a lot of things that, pulses or whatever that you think, is it a pulse?
What?
Pulp, like a pulp.
Pulp, all right, yeah, pulp.
I have this thing where I say something that's the correct beginning letter, and then I'm like put a whole different word in. It's.
You pick a word that's sort of like adjacent.
It's like a poetically like a slant rhyme.
You're like it's close to this, but it's not this. But
I do that a lot. You'll notice every time I speak, I'll probably say the wrong thing with the intentions
should we
of the
play
right.
double tonight?
Yes. Anyway, so once you get this hand blender, you can make hummus. Hummus! Okay, don't ever buy store-bought hummus ever again. Because I bet if you go into your local, like, grocery shop, some, like small place, find their chickpeas. They're like 49p. I can't imagine that they'll be that much more expensive in the States. Just find your local chickpeas, and basically you open the chickpeas, put the aquafaba, yes, to all those vegans, you drain the liquid that the chickpeas are in, which is called aquafaba, and I think that's often used as an egg substitute for vegans in baking, so it's like a kind of thick liquid that holds the chickpeas. Put that aside. You might want to use it. So you put the drained chickpeas into, we use a Chinese food container, but just put it into kind of a deep container, and then put a lot of cumin, paprika at the end, so a lot of cumin, salt, fresh lemon juice, or lemon juice if you have it in that like cool little yellow bottle that looks like a lemon. It's packaging that resembles the product itself, which is quite funny. So lemon juice, some garlic, so you can cut up actually raw garlic. I put garlic powder. I'm the queen of garlic powder, so I always recommend using both. And then a little bit of the aquafaba, or some people would say water. And then you just blend it all up. And at the end, that's when I put the paprika and also some olive oil. And that's it. You have hummus. And it takes 2 minutes. So basically, again, it is drained chickpeas, salt, cumin, garlic of your choosing, and
lemon juice, tahini.
Oh yeah, and tahini paste.
That's
You do have to buy tahini paste. That might be expensive, but that's the only thing that you do have to buy. And then maybe the aquafaba if you don't want to use water.
But the tahini lasts forever.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to refrigerate it.
And then
so
you
it
blend it all up, and then you have hummus, and then you put paprika at the end, and like a garlic,
little
olive
garnish.
oil. And if you wanted roasted red pepper hummus, all you have to do is roast the red peppers ahead of time and then blend those in as well. Yeah. So apparently making hummus is like really quick and easy, and I just wanted to share that because we make hummus almost every day now.
Yeah, and it
tastes better as well than
like we were at my mum's. She had a birthday party recently, and
happy birthday, Victoria!
Shout out, although she doesn't listen, obviously.
And also,
yeah, she like specifically asked me. She was like, "Oh, Rob, could you make that nice hummus that you made last time?" And it's like it's a great like social hack. Because people are impressed. You're like, I made this hummus myself. But little do they know, it's the easiest thing in the world to make.
And then you also feel better because you know what's going exactly into it.
If
you care about that stuff, it's just not processed.
It's not processed. It tastes delicious.
And it lasts a couple of days, but it won't because you'll eat it up. So. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that because actually it's made our lives a lot better. And it's not as bougie or knobby as learning sourdough, right? Some people might have an aversion to that because it's so fucking hard.
Well, sourdough's hard, yeah.
It's super hard to do that, and it's super impressive, actually, when you watch someone do a sourdough loaf or any bread-related thing. But hummus? Oh my god, I'm fresh, you're friends with hummus, man!
Imagine some fresh hummus with this loaf.
Yeah, exactly.
That
it would have been
so good.
Fucking gorgeous. So that's
maybe
one
we'll
thing.
make some for the picnic.
Yeah. And another thing that Rob mentioned, I'll just swiftly move on to our other life hack that we just learned, is pickling. Making your own pickles. Apparently it's super easy. I haven't done it, so Rob's going to have to explain, but while I eat some bread. But he'll explain.
I'm just eating a pickle to remind myself. Delicious. Very easy to make. You get cucumbers. It's better if you can get the smaller cucumbers rather than the big ones. So if you've got access to a market or some kind of local greengrocer, fruit, veg shop, whatever like that, it's better to get smaller cucumbers, but any will do. They all work. It's very simple. You just chop them up into coins. You put them in a sieve, sprinkle salt all over them, put them over a bowl, and you just leave them, and they'll just wait there for a while. The salt just draws the water out of them. If you want, you can put them into the fridge, put some ice on them. You can also chop up a few little onions or shallots or something like that if you want as well. But you don't have to. It can be very simple. And then whilst that's sitting there on the hob, you get some vinegar, some yellow mustard seeds, some dill. But also, it can be whatever you want, actually. It doesn't have to be mustard seeds and dill. It's just, I like those sweet pickles, personally. Like, these are for, like, burger pickles, that kind of gherkin. That's the kind that I like, especially. And I know you do as well, so it works best. So you get the vinegar, bit of salt, bit of sugar, the mustard seeds, the dill. You boil it. Yeah. And then you let it cool completely. You get a jar that you have to sterilize. There's various different ways of sterilizing it, make it sure it's completely clean. And then once the cucumber has, like, dried out a bit, you put it in the jar, you pour the cold liquid on top, put it in a jar, put it in the fridge, leave it for 5-7 days, et voila. You have... And it's... I mean, they taste... Again, they taste better than the ones you buy in the store. Right. You know exactly what's gone into them.
Yeah, and you're proud of them. You're like, eat these, I made it. Yeah. So it's like, and again, hopefully I listed all the correct ingredients for the hummus and the pickles, because we've done this quickly, but like, I'm sure that we can write them out and get them somewhere, because they're so easy that you don't really need a recipe. You just need to know what goes into it, and then you kind of put your proportions in yourself.
And you, like with any kind of cooking thing, you get kind of an eye for it as you go along, and sooner or later you don't need to measure out things. Yeah. Like, I'm nowhere near the stage with the bread where I don't need to measure out. I think bread it's almost like a science you have to be very precise with. But certain other things you can just have a little bit more, a little bit less. Yeah, like
you could just like dash the tahini in and put a shit ton of cumin, and then that is good hummus. Our cat really wanted to go out, and she was doing this thing where she looks real cute, and she scratches at the door and looks backwards at us, and now she's been bunned, which means she's been picked up, and her limbs are just kind of secured.
You want a kid? I'm going to give her some ham.
I have 2 more things to talk about, Rob, and then they're quite quick.
Okay, so third segment.
Third segment, it'll be the quickest.
Caitlin's third segment.
Drinks. Okay, so 2 things to always keep in the back of your tiny little minds for drinks. Okay? I think I've said one of these before, but I'm going to say it again, okay? So, sprucing up cheap wine. Some of us, we have to buy things on a budget. Right. Some of us overindulge and then have no more money to buy better wines and stuff. So, I'm, no stranger to buying a 2 for $5 wine when I was 20. But, like, still, I bought them. I loved them. I love that that's an option. I also think that it should be accessible to everybody. So, different price ranges. But if you find yourself buying either a crappy, cheap bottle of wine or a bottle of wine where you actually think it's been, like, stored the wrong way, I think, or the flavor tannins are wrong, throw that shit into a blender and blend it really quick. Or, what's the other one?
A hand blender.
Oh, the hand blender! Yeah, we haven't tried that, though, so I can't verify it.
But it's the same principle, isn't it?
Yeah, so you basically blend it, and you basically are oxygenizing it. That's why, or oxygenating?
It's oxygenating, yeah.
You're oxygenating it, and that's why people put wine into, like, a carafe, like a decanter.
Yeah, and they let it breathe.
And they let, like, a nice red breathe, and they let it breathe for, like, as long as sourdough, and then you're like, when can I drink this drink? But yeah, so if you get a really cheap wine and you stir it up real quick, don't do it by hand, but if you have some kind of machine to do it, it'll make it taste a lot better.
Yeah, it actually does make a difference.
It does. It changes the colour. It, like, it reinvigorates it.
I'd say it makes it £2 more expensive.
Yeah, So that £5 becomes $7, and in the States that means that $6 becomes $9. So that's pretty bougie, in my opinion. And
good hack.
Yeah, that's a good hack. And then finally, this is one of your hacks that you taught me, the cafetiere hack. So, you only get like 3-4 glasses of coffee in a cafetiere or a French press.
Also known as a French press.
French press.
Yeah, for Americans.
What does one do to get more coffee out of it?
Oh, so have you started doing this then?
No, so I need a reminder.
Well, if you boil more than enough water than you need, and you make a full, like it has to be a big cafetiere, French press. It can't be a small one. If you have a big one, you pour 2 cups of coffee. That should leave you about half of it full. And then you pour the rest of the water that you didn't use into the cafetiere, making sure you get all the bits off the filter and stuff.
But you pull the thing up to pour
Pull the thing up so it's all... And then you stir it round again. Then you leave it and you press it again. And then you leave it. By the time you're ready for your next cup of coffee...
You can't tell the difference.
It's just as delicious.
Yeah. And one final thing is, I don't know if people use a French press or a cafetiere, or you have your coffee machines or percolators or AeroPresses.
So many options.
But I flush my my coffee
Oh, here we go.
grounds.
Everybody ready?
I flush my coffee grounds, and it's never done me any dirty. So that's what I want to leave you on.
Yes.
Don't pour them down the sink.
Don't pour them down the sink. We don't want fatbergs, do we?
Yeah.
Fatbergs are bad. Slimbergs, good.
Some people drain them and throw them in the trash, though. But I was told also to.
You can do that as well if you want to faff around. But yeah.
And that's it.
That's it, right? Yeah. That's all you got. That's the end. So so what's the outro for Caitlin's Culinary Corner?
Corner, Culinary Caitlin, yeah.
Amazing, rock and roll. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was fucking
great.
What
can I say except you're welcome. Thank you, Dwayne, DJ, The Rock, Johnson.
Make sure everybody calls me DJ.
Oh, and also, I don't know if she's listening to this, but Nora's 30th birthday is on Monday, the 14th. Happy birthday, Nora. I love you very much.
Aw, happy birthday, Nora. Sorry, my face is full of food.
He had a big eyes wide, like, really? So, yes, happy fucking birthday. I love you!
Okay, and that is the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed this week. I know we have. We've had a great time. Get in touch if you like this kind of thing. If you want us to have more of Caitlin's Culinary Corner. I know we have a few fans out there. We appreciate all feedback that you give. A little shout out to my patrons as well. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I absolutely love you. Thank you very much for putting your faith in me and for putting your faith in the show. And on the week where it seems like we may be about to go into lockdown, keep the faith out there. Keep positive. Remember, friends, family, love, good food, good entertainment.
And boobs.
And boobs. I mean, the best things in life, you know.
Not free.
Yeah. All things in moderation, including moderation itself. I believe someone cleverer than me once said that. I love you very much out there. Keep the bliss of the abyss going in your heart and in your head. Mwah.
Mwah.
Thank you for listening to the show. This has been The Bliss of the Abyss with your host, me, Robin Emo Jones, Ruskin Denmark, whatever you want to call me. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider supporting it by becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/The Bliss of the Abyss and give whatever you can. It really, really helps support the show and keeps it growing and becoming better and bigger and brighter. Follow us on all the social medias, follow me on all the social medias, and give us 5 stars. It helps grow the show. Keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1. Who knows with me? She's calling to see if maybe you're in now, but I guess not. So I guess I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Talk to you then. Bye.